And here are the tools and pieces of equipment you will need to prepare the Aurora sauce. A pan, preferably a saucepan, a flat spoon, a conical strainer, a knife, and a green chopping board to cut vegetables on. Let's proceed with the preparation. First, light the gas range and place the saucepan on the gas. Then add the tomato sauce to it. Bring to a boil. Next, slowly add the chicken velouté and let it simmer for a while. Check the seasoning, add it as per your taste. Remove the pan from the heat. And it's done. Serve the sauce along with the dish you desire and garnish with the de-skinned tomato wedges. Next, we move on to another category of velouté sauces called the seafood velouté sauce. These are served alongside seafood dishes. We will be learning to prepare two of the most common seafood velouté sauce derivatives. They are shrimp velouté and normande. Seafood veloutés use the white fish bone stock and are therefore white sauces. We will begin our seafood velouté tutorial with the shrimp velouté. To prepare the shrimp velouté sauce, you will need the following ingredients. Seafood velouté, which is prepared using white fish bone stock, reduced fish stock, some shrimp shells, shrimp tails, and some butter, refined flour. Next, you will need the following equipment to prepare shrimp velouté: 2 saucepans, a flat spoon, a ladle, and a conical strainer. Okay friends, let us now start the procedure for preparing the shrimp velouté. First, light the gas range. Next, take some butter in one of the saucepans and add the shrimp tails Saute till they turn golden. Take the pan off the heat. In the other pan, add butter and saute shrimp shells till they turn orange in color. Now add the reduced fish stock. Simmer for 10 minutes and strain using the conical strainer.
Place the saucepan with shrimps on the gas range.
Now add refined flour. Then add the strained liquid to the pan with the shrimp tails. Bring this mixture to a boil. Check the seasoning. Add it as per your taste. Finally, add the shrimp butter, mix and serve as desired. Let's have a quick recap of the tools, ingredients and the steps to prepare shrimp veloute. That was the recipe for the shrimp veloute sauce. Now let's see how to prepare the Normande sauce. To prepare the Normande sauce, you will need the following ingredients: refined flour, reduced seafood stock, some oyster liquor, some shrimp tails, shrimp butter, egg yolk, cream, butter, and some chopped mushrooms. Next, you will need the following tools and equipments: a pan, preferably a saucepan, a flat spoon, a ladle, a knife, and a green chopping board. Now to prepare the Normande sauce, you must First, light the gas range and place the pan on it. Next, melt some butter and saute the sliced mushrooms. Then, add the shrimp tails to the pan. Now add refined flour. Cook till pale. Also add the fish stock. Then add the oyster liquor. Cook this mixture for a while. Check the seasoning. Add it as per your taste. Lastly, finish with a liaison of egg yolk and cream. Your Normand sauce is ready to be served. Garnish and serve hot with the desired dish. Here is a recap of Normand sauce. Ravigote is another derivative of meat velouté. Sauce ravigote is a classic sauce in French cuisine which is served alongside eggs, fish, fowl or other mild meats. It is prepared either warm or cold. To prepare this delicious sauce, you will need a veal velouté preparation, some chopped shallots, some white vinegar, chopped parsley, some tarragon, chives, and butter. The tools and equipment that you will need are a saucepan, a ladle, a flat spoon, and a green chopping board. Now to prepare the ravigote sauce, you must First, place the saucepan on the lighted gas range. Add butter to the pan to melt it. Then add the chopped shallots to the pan. Add vinegar to this. And reduce the quantity to 75% by heating. Now add the veal velouté to this mixture. Next, add the chopped tarragon and parsley. Mix well. Finally, garnish with chives and serve as desired. Let's have a quick recap of what we learnt about Ravi Goth. So friends, today you learnt how to prepare velouté, one of the Western mother sauces and its various derivatives. I know it was a lot of information to take in, so let's take a moment to summarize all that we saw today. We saw that sauces are thick flavored liquids that add richness and texture to the food among other things. Velouté is one of the 5 Western mother sauces from which many other sauces are derived. In this module, we learned how to prepare velouté. Next, we learned how to prepare the 2 most common derivatives of chicken velouté, namely suprême and aurore. After that, we learned how to make the 2 most popular derivatives of seafood velouté. They were shrimp velouté and normande. Finally, we learned how to prepare caper and Ravi Goth sauces, which are derivatives of meat velouté. Espagnole sauce is commonly known as brown sauce. It gets its characteristic brown color from the brown roux and brown stock which form its base. Remember, brown roux is a mixture of vegetable oil and refined flour. Let's have a look at the various ingredients that you will require to make a good brown sauce. You will need butter, meat trimmings, refined flour, tomato puree, bacon, brown stock. Now it's time to gather all the tools and equipments. You will need a saucepan, a wooden spoon, a gas range, a chinois, and a whisk. Now we're ready to see how brown sauce is cooked. Place the saucepan on the gas range and grease it with a little butter. Add the meat trimmings. Add refined flour. Add bacon. But once again, I remind you to take into consideration the preferences of your guests. Now pour in the tomato puree. Finally, pour in the brown stock. Allow the sauce to simmer. The sauce needs to simmer for a minimum of 3 to 4 hours so that all the flavors can be infused nicely. However, keep it for longer if you desire a stronger flavor. Remember to periodically skim off the scum that appears on the surface of the brown sauce. Place the chinois on the mouth of the container and strain the sauce through the mesh. This will allow the solid ingredients to be separated from the sauce. Your sauce is now ready. Make sure that you store your sauce in a very cold temperature. Whew, those were a lot of steps. Let's see them again and refresh our memories. Now that you know how to prepare brown sauce, you'll be very happy to know that it has many derivatives. So with just a little tweaking, you can create a completely new sauce. Let's look at some of the derivatives of brown sauce. There is demi-glace, the chasseur, the bordelaise, the madeira, and the chaudfroid. Lots of complicated French names, huh? Thank your stars that the recipes are quite simple. Come, let me show you. The word demi means half in French. This alludes to the fact that demi-glace sauce is made by mixing equal quantities of brown stock and brown sauce and simmering it until the quantity reduces to half. Let's look at the ingredients you need to prepare a good demi-glace sauce. 1 liter of brown stock and a liter of brown sauce. That's it. Now that we have our ingredients, let's start cooking. Add equal quantities of brown stock and brown sauce in a saucepan. Pour in 1 liter of brown stock. Now, allow the stock and sauce to simmer. The quantity needs to reduce to half, that is, from 2 liters to 1 liter. Although the sauce will take a very long time to reduce, that doesn't mean you can leave it alone and carry on with other work. You will need to scrape the bottom of the pot every 5 to 10 minutes. This is to ensure that the bottommost layer does not get burnt. Once you've managed to reduce the quantity to half, the job is done. Put the sauce in a container and it's ready to use or store. If you're using it on the same day, store the sauce at a temperature below 7 degrees Celsius. Now let's have a quick recap of the recipe for demi-glace. Chasseur sauce is a simple sauce that uses demi-glace sauce as its base. The ingredients that you will need are some demi-glace sauce, chopped mushrooms, white wine, diced tomatoes, some chopped parsley, shallots or baby onions, butter, and salt and pepper for seasoning. Now that you've gathered your ingredients, pay attention to the procedure of preparing chasseur sauce. Drop a dollop of butter on a saucepan that is sitting on the gas flame. Add shallots. Add the mushrooms and saute them slightly. Now, splash in a generous amount of white wine. Allow it to simmer until the amount of wine halves. Next, toss in the diced tomatoes. Add in the demi-glace also. Season the sauce with a touch of salt and pepper. Next, sprinkle chopped parsley over the sauce. Your chosa sauce is ready to serve. Let's see once again how chosa sauce is prepared. Now it's time to summarize everything that we've learned today so you don't forget anything. Now it's time to summarize everything that we've learned today so you don't forget anything. Espanol sauce or brown sauce gets its brown color from brown stock and brown roux. The main ingredient in this sauce is beef, veal or lamb. Add in some aromatic vegetables and herbs, tomato puree and red wine, and that's it. Optionally, you may add pork, but only after taking into consideration the preferences of your guests and the cultural ethos of the country that you are operating in. Once you have made brown sauce, there are several other sauces that you can make by using it as a base. Some of the derivatives of brown sauce are demi-glace, chasseur, bordelais, madeira, and chaud-froid. To prepare the demi-glace sauce, just mix brown stock and brown sauce in equal proportions. Then simmer the mixture and reduce it to half. Chasseur means hunter in French, because apparently hunters used to make this sauce with the mushrooms that they picked during their trips. So when you think of chasseur sauce, just remember lots of mushrooms, onions and tomatoes in a brown sauce base. When cooking brown sauce, there are a few things that you should remember. Use pork rind and bacon with caution. In India especially, you need to think very carefully about your guests' taste and community. While simmering your sauces, make sure that you don't burn the bottom layer of the sauce. So, you should keep stirring the sauce and turning the bottom. Your sauces should simmer on a low heat. Otherwise, they will be completely ruined. Tomato sauce is one of the 5 mother sauces in Western cuisine. Yes, I am talking about the classic tomato sauce. As you may know, a tomato-based sauce is tangy in taste and deep red in color. The texture of this sauce is coarser than any other Western mother sauce. Tomato sauce can be prepared by many different methods. Let us look at one such method. You will need the following ingredients to prepare tomato sauce. 30 grams of pork fat or butter. The type of fat you use depends on where and who you are cooking for. Some people may not appreciate the pork fat in their food. 400 grams of tomato puree. 600 grams of tomato concasse. A concasse is nothing but blanched and de-seeded tomatoes turned to puree. 10 grams of sugar. Crushed peppercorns. 1 bay leaf. 1 gram thyme. 1 gram oregano. 2 grams of basil. 300 milliliters of chicken stock or vegetable stock. And finally, some salt and pepper for seasoning. Great! Now to cook these ingredients and make the sauce, you will need the following tools and equipments. Saucepan, a wooden spoon, a gas range. Alright, now let's start with the process of preparing our tomato sauce. Okay, first you must light the gas range and place the saucepan. Add butter, saute garlic, onion, leeks, celery. Add the tomato concasse. Season with salt and pepper to your liking and taste. And tomato puree to the mixture. Then add the chicken stock and reduce the extra liquid. So friends, now that you know how to prepare the mother sauce, let us further learn how to prepare its derivatives. By now you are familiar with what is meant by derivative. Derivative is a sauce prepared by adding ingredients to the mother sauce. The common derivatives of tomato sauce are barbecue sauce, Provençal sauce, Portuguese sauce, Italian sauce, and Burmese sauce. Now that you know the derivatives of tomato sauce, let's proceed to learn how to make a couple of these derivatives. We'll start with a Burmese sauce. The Burmese sauce has red chili paste and coriander over and above the tomato concasse. To prepare this sauce, you will need tomato sauce, some red chili paste, coriander leaves, salt and pepper for seasoning, and finally, lime wedges and chopped coriander for garnishing. Great! Now to cook these ingredients and make the sauce, you will need the following tools and equipments. Saucepan, a wooden spoon, a gas range. Now that we have all the ingredients and tools, let's start making the sauce. First, you must place a saucepan on the lighted gas range. Add tomato sauce. Add the red chili paste and coriander leaves. Add salt and pepper to taste. Your Burmese sauce is ready to be served with a dish of your choice. You've mastered the Burmese sauce. Now let's try to make a perfect Provençal sauce, a common derivative of the tomato sauce prepared using white wine. To prepare a delicious Provençal sauce, you will need some chopped shallots, some chopped garlic, olive oil, some blanched tomatoes, tomato juice, white wine, some salt and pepper to taste, and finally some black olives for garnishing. You will also need the following tools and equipments: saucepan, a wooden spoon, a gas range. Do you have all the ingredients? Great! Let's get started with the preparation procedure then. To prepare the Provençal sauce, you must first place the saucepan on the lighted gas range. Add chopped shallots and chopped garlic to the pan. Sauté till they turn pinkish. Next, cut the blanched tomatoes into quarters and add them to the pan. Then add the white wine and sauté. Finally, add the tomato juice and cook the mixture for 40 minutes. Don't forget to check the seasoning. Add it as per your taste. Garnish with black olives and serve. Before moving ahead, take a quick look at the whole process again. So friends, today you learned how to prepare tomato sauce, one of the Western mother sauces and its various derivatives. Let's take a moment to summarize all that we saw today. We saw that sauces are thick, flavored liquids that add richness and texture to the food, among other things. We learned how to prepare the basic tomato sauce. It was easy, wasn't it? It is made using ingredients like tomato puree, seasoning, herbs, and stock. We also learned how to prepare Burmese sauce, which is a derivative of tomato sauce. It needs extra ingredients like red chili paste and coriander leaves. And lastly, we learned how to prepare another derivative of tomato sauce, the Provençal sauce, which is prepared using white wine amongst other ingredients.
नमस्कार, मैं दिव्यांशी चौहान।
नमस्कार, मैं भगवती जबनाल। आप सभी का सीएससी कड़ी की तीसरी चर्चा में आपका स्वागत करते हैं।
हमने अभी तक बात की सीएससी सेवाओं के बारे में, जिसमें त्यागी सर ने हमें सीएससी का एक ओवरव्यू दिया। साथ ही हमने बात